Yemen's Houthis have now joined the war against Israel and have begun carrying out drone strikes this past weekend. In fact, this began this past weekend on Saturday. So Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Saree announced that the attacks were launched in support of the Republic of Iran. Take a look.
The Yemeni armed forces, with the help of Allah Almighty and relying upon Allah, have carried out the first military operation using a barrage of ballistic missiles targeting sensitive Israeli military sites in southern occupied Palestine. The American and Israeli enemy must immediately respond to international diplomatic efforts to halt the aggression against Iran and the countries of the Axis, as it is unjust, oppressive, and unjustified, and harms stability and security at both the global and regional levels, as well as the global economy. We affirm that our hands are on the trigger for direct military intervention in any of the following cases: the joining of any additional alliances with the United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran and the axis of jihad and resistance; the use of the Red Sea to carry out hostile operations by the United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran or against any Muslim country. We will not allow that.
So I should note that the Houthis absolutely intend to target Israel as part of these operations. And Israel, look, the government of Israel is not only playing with the lives of innocent civilians, Arabs, Muslims, all of that, also playing with the lives of American service members who are constantly dragged into their wars. But they're playing with the lives of their own citizens. You know, I don't know the exact number at this point because Israel is pretty tight-lipped when it comes to their own casualties and how much damage Iran has managed to do or how much damage Hezbollah has done in Israel. Now you have the Houthis involved too. So you've got Iran, you've got Hezbollah, you've got the Houthis. Israelis are running into their shelters multiple times a day. How is this good? How could you want this? For what? You guys really didn't have enough land? I really don't get it. Anyway, Al Jazeera reports that the Houthis are planning to target Israel's military sites for now and do not plan to target US positions in the region unless the US attacks them first. So the US agreed to a ceasefire with Ansar Allah last year after conducting heavy bombing in Yemen that failed to stop Yemeni attacks on Israel, which were being launched in response to Israel's genocidal campaign in Gaza. That's according to Dave DeCamp over at antiwar.com. But the reason why I think this story is important is because of the economic leverage the Houthis have. And if you don't think they have any leverage, you'd be wrong. Take a look at this next video.
The group controls most of northwestern Yemen and the capital, Sana'a, and a significant portion of the coastline on the Red Sea, a vital corridor for global trade. The Houthis' involvement comes as Iran is maintaining its effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, where about 20% of global oil supplies transit. Now the Iran-backed group is threatening military action in the Red Sea if the waterway is used for, quote, hostile operations by the US and Israel against Iran. The corridor handles roughly 12 to 15% of global trade.
Not good, not good. So you have the issues with the Strait of Hormuz now that the United States attacked Iran, and Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, and so they're not allowing oil tankers and transport through the strait unless you're an ally, unless you've worked out some sort of deal with Iran and will agree to pay a toll. And then on top of that, you have the waterways that are controlled by the Houthis in Yemen, and we're already feeling the economic burden of this war, clearly. And so as Dave DeCamp at antiwar.com noted, the Houthis may reimpose the blockade on Israeli-linked shipping through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, which connects the Gulf of Aden to the Red Sea. Shutting down the strait would significantly exacerbate the global economic fallout and rising oil prices from the US-Israeli war against Iran. Who wants this? Who would want this? This is stupid. But here we are. And I just want to remind you all that Trump gave up on defeating the Houthis. So how the hell are you going to defeat the IRCG? How were you dumb enough to get dragged into this war? But here we are.
Look, I know a lot of people are exhausted by the news right now, and honestly, who can blame them? Every outlet has an angle. Every story gets twisted to fit somebody's agenda. And if you're just reading one headline, you're probably not getting the full story. If you want to know what's really going on, you have to be able to see how the story is being framed. And that's why I recommend Ground News. Ground News is an app and a website that pulls together reporting from across the political spectrum so you can compare coverage in one place. Take this story about the FBI investigating an administration official who resigned over the Iran war. One outlet wants you thinking about Trump and the bigger Iran context, while another one wants you focused narrowly on the alleged leaks. Same story, but a very different message depending on who's telling it. And Ground News makes that obvious right away. You can compare headlines side by side, see the biased distribution of the coverage, check the factuality ratings of the sources, and even see who owns the outlets reporting on it. They also have a blind spot feed, which shows you when one side of the political spectrum is barely covering a story at all. And that matters because sometimes what they ignore tells you just as much as what they choose to cover. If you want to stay informed without getting played by the media spin, I think Ground News is a really valuable tool. Go to ground.news/TYT or scan the QR code. Using our link gets you 40% off of the Ground News Vantage plan. Don't let them shape the narrative for you. See the full picture for yourself. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.